I have a little bit of a... No, I'm not ashamed of it. Basically, there's a big pile of mess. I can pretend that it's totally clean, clear and under control, but it's not. So this is the plan for the office. The original idea for this video was to have it clean and clear and under control. So this is very much didn't achieve. It would behoove us to discuss the fact that this is an exterior wall, which means it is pretty darn strong. It's made of, I don't know, like brick or concrete or something. That means we can drill some holes in it and it can hold a fair amount of weight. Now, the general idea is that we have a fair amount of storage in the house, but as storage normally does, it gets taken up by things that are important and bulky. So I figured what we could do is get things like the toolbox and the tools, hence the DeWalt circular saw there, and have a big shelf across there, nowhere near head height, and then put like tools on there and these kind of Kallaxy boxes. Obviously a little bit more sturdy than that, but it depends on the shelf brackets that you use. We can put some suitable receptacles on it because I don't really want to see it, that's the thing. The key with anything like this is it looks tidier the less you can see. But equally, you want to have everything in its place so you can actually find it when you need it. This is a fair amount of space when you think about how many tools we have. Yeah, we've got the circular saw, we've got I think a jigsaw, a couple of things like that. You think about it in blocks, right? So if that is one block, say that's one Kallaxy thing, I can fit quite a few Kallaxy things there, and I've got maybe 2 strips of shelf if I wanted to really deck it out. I don't, to be clear. I want to have it, I don't know, in an arch or something like that, so I've got a little bit of headspace across the computer, but I don't mind it going a bit lower, so I could have 2. But it will look nicest if it's covered. I don't want a load of toolboxes visible. Next up, my craft stuff. Now, I need to have a sort through it. I've sorted through some things, but over the years I have accumulated things like a little oven for clay, because you don't want to bake polymer clay in your actual food oven. You don't want plastic particles circulating in your food. The thing is, I'm not currently using it because I'm like plastic particles full stop, but I don't know whether in the next few years I might use it or for something else. So it feels really weird to get rid of it. I've also got a Cricut machine, a sewing machine. Actually, as you know, 2 sewing machines that I do not use, but I should use. There's no point in me getting rid of them to then 3 years later come back and buy a new one, especially when they can fit in one of the widgets. The other stuff I've got includes that from John Lewis, which is basically holding all the sewing stuff. Actually, no, it doesn't quite hold all the sewing stuff. You can see there I've got a box of threads, and it totally makes sense to keep that in its box because it looks quite neat. That beehivey thing I would keep out because it looks quite sweet. I purchased it not necessarily because it's the best use of space or fits the most, but because it's really cute. It's got a couple of levels, one where you put some threads and then another where I've just shoved some fabric in. This chest of drawers I'm not getting rid of. It's something that I've had since I was very young and it is really sturdy wood. Maybe needs a sand and revarnish at some point, but it's good. What I do need to do, however, is make better dividers because that is very much targeted at clothes and things get lost in the depths. I can't put things that are too heavy in there because they just damage the drawers. Too heavy, you ask? Yeah, like a load of hammers. From jewellery stuff, which is why it's really important that these shelves are well thought out and against a hard wall, not just some plasterboard. The next kind of big thing is these, for example. They're old study notes and I put so much effort into them and it feels really weird to just bin them. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just scan them, but I put a load of sticky notes and stuff on top of it. So I want to maintain how cool, so I'm really proud of that, the way that I did it, the way that I studied, etc. I want to maintain that, but realistically over time I don't think I want to keep them because paper just disintegrates. So if I want to maintain the positivity, I need to do something about it. What are these boxes, I hear you ask? It's mostly craft stuff, some stuff to sort through from the amount of years that we've been alive. I find it a little bit tricky letting things go, but I'm a lot better now, believe it or not. This is kind of the residual stuff, which is pretty good going considering. And again, it's not all mine. You always internalise these things. You go, I'm not very good at getting rid of stuff. Then when you've finally gotten around to put it in like charity piles, one of your family members comes around and goes, oh, you could need that. You spend loads of time and effort on that. No. I have put so much mental effort into getting rid of that and letting go. You can't do that. This is generational. Just because we're one of the first generations that have been able to accumulate so much crap does not mean that we shouldn't also be one of the first generations to get rid of it, because when a family member passes away, having to go through all their stuff on top, there is some really old stuff in some of our family members' houses. Like my mum has got an egg pan from like 1912, I think. It belongs in a museum, but she still uses it because we've used it for ages. Not non-stick, of course, and it's only used for eggs because it's got this calcified layer just built up over the last 100 and so years. But yeah, it's not just me. Equally, you have to tackle these on a positive day, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. It just drains you. Point is, I don't want to be the person who pushes that on my loved ones. Yeah, there's going to be loads of stuff for them to sort out, like whether they keep the saucepans that I like, etc. But I'd rather have it be my functional, useful stuff and maybe the odd heirloom than boxes and boxes of stuff that I can't even remember what it is. That's why I'm harping on about everything being in its place, because if you know where it is, you're not going to forget it. And there's been times where we've bought like 2 sets of drill bits because we can't freaking find the first one. The other main theme is this massive pile of books. I have sorted through it already. You wouldn't necessarily believe it, but they're ones that did matter to me when I was younger. I know you can get services that scan them for you. It's not the same. I feel like if I do my time to scan it and say goodbye properly, because there's a load of these that when I was younger I was really keen on and I had this emotional connection with, and you don't really have that with an online book anymore. It's just text, it doesn't feel the same. The best way I can describe it is these feel more like they have a soul. But equally, unless it's something that I cannot get on Kindle or something, then I'm really not likely to pick these up. And again, paper disintegrates, so it's going to be a lot harder for me the longer I leave it to scan them. So the plan with these is, yeah, to, I don't know, use an app or something to scan the pages. Hopefully it'll come out right. I can then use OCR, optical character recognition, to physically get it into a file that my Kindle or whatever can read. I think it's worth touching upon this. I do not own the intellectual property for this book, but I can do what I want with this book, right? So I can take pictures of it. As long as I don't distribute it, that is encroaching on someone else's intellectual property. As long as it's for personal use, from what I've researched, is fine. I paid however much it was for these books back in the day, and I'm going to keep the story available for my usage, because there's so many books, I may not be bothered to do all of them, so then I'll become more cutthroat about it, a bit more ruthless. A fair number of them will be available online. There's also a few that aren't because of licensing restrictions. I have the book, I just want to read the book. So yeah, that's my plan. It's gonna take a while, which is partly why it's not happened yet, and it used to be so much worse than this. So we've come a really long way, but it's also quite off-putting seeing quite how much there is to do. I think at this point we can safely say it's 26's problem. One thing I'm having some real issues with is text. We've got some old phones, old laptops and so on, and they are in one of these many boxes, but I'm in that spiral of, if I give that to somebody else, will they be able to get into my bank details because I haven't been able to destroy the drive properly? So let me know if you've got any really safe recommendations apart from like bashing it. And also sometimes you go, oh, that old bit of kit can actually be useful because you can pull something out of it if you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Let me know if you have a pile of shame and what you intend to do about it. Have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow for the very last Vlogmas. Way!